Hello, hello, and welcome to Saturday Soundbites. I'm your host, Veronica V. Sofer, and I have another fantastic episode for you today. Here on Saturday Soundbites, we talk about all things visibility strategy. We talk about public relations, advertising, marketing, networking, branding, how to tie all of that together so that your story can get out there and people know exactly what you're about and what you're doing. So if you have a brick and mortar business or you're a service provider, or a coach, this is the podcast to get great advice from experts about your visibility. So we will go ahead and get this episode started. But before we do, let's make sure we take care of some housekeeping. If you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of Saturday Soundbites. And if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, drop us some comments and my guest and I will be sure to connect with you. So we'll go ahead and get started by bringing on, I have Karsyn Skuter joining us. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited that our conversation is going to revolve around TikTok. But before I really dive into the nuts and bolts about how it can improve your visibility and really get you out there, tell me how you fell into this space. How did you become an expert in this?
Yeah, so I've been in the digital marketing social media space for about 10 years now. And that's a story for another time. But kind of over the past couple of years, my husband and I, we had a little baby and we both wanted to be at home to, see him grow up and everything, but also pursue our passion of digital marketing. So my husband had actually just started up on TikTok as a personal account and blew up so fast. And we're like, wow, if you can get visible this fast for a personal account, can we replicate the results for businesses and, see monetization, more brand awareness, etc. And so we started, rolling it out with our clients and we saw insane results. And we're like, this is an incredible way to get your name out there. So that's kind of in a nutshell how we got into this space.
That's amazing. And so what is the secret to TikTok? For those of us who aren't really on it, who we just maybe scroll through for entertainment every once in a while, but we don't have our business or our marketing efforts in there. Tell us about what the appeal is.
I really truly believe that TikTok revolutionized the social media space. They brought in these short snippets of video that were just so authentic, and you got to see a side of business owners and brands that you don't typically see, via just static posting and everything else. So I really think, the authentic appeal of TikTok videos is what makes it so different and what has made it so appealing to so many people on the app.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I would say that I know folks who have changed their marketing budgets and really refocused their social media specifically to address TikTok's influence. So tell us some of the things we need to be thinking about as we are analyzing our marketing budget, or we're looking at how we're doing with our SEO or whatever the metrics are that we're analyzing with our team. How do we need to be thinking about the next quarter and the next quarter after that?
Yeah. And, I think it's one of those things where, recognizing first of all that TikTok is not just, where you're doing dances and there's trends going around. Like, it is so much more valuable than that. And it's such an incredible resource with SEO and everything else that you had just expressed. And so when, you're looking at your budget, when you're looking at, where you want your brand or your business to be, I think it is really important to start getting, ideas of somebody in your team or somebody outsourcing TikTok and short form video to other people in order to really take your marketing ecosystem and your marketing strategy to the next level.
Mm-hmm. And how do you actually, you say you take it to the next level. How do you measure that? Like, what does that look like for someone who maybe is a service provider?
Yeah, for sure. So, I really think that you first have to figure out what your goal is with TikTok. Like anything else, if you're just going to be posting and you don't really have any idea as to what your goals are behind the posting, it can be difficult to track those metrics. So, once you have that figured out, maybe it's brand visibility. That is a great metric that you can track on TikTok. You can track it through, your website traffic. You can look at the views, you can look at the profile visits. But then if you want to even dive deeper, you can, with the link in your bio, that is such a powerful way to convert people and monetize things. So, with that link in bio, start seeing, if there's this much traffic coming from TikTok to your landing page or to your website, and then start figuring out, like, are people actually converting from that? Because there's so
Right.
many, things behind the scenes. Like, if your funnels aren't operating properly, if there's some bottlenecks within those, TikTok isn't
Mhm.
going to force people to make that final, push. But it does give you the idea, the front, it's the top of the funnel. So it gives you the idea of who's coming, how many people are coming. And yeah, it's a great way for that top of funnel traffic.
Yeah. And I was going to, you talked about, excuse me, bottlenecking in your sales funnels. How do you know if you're getting qualified leads on TikTok and if you do have those bottlenecks in your system? In other words, what if you're discounting the leads because there's something else going on in your system? How do you flush all that out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I really think it depends on the industry you're in. For me
Hmm.
personally, like, we're managers and strategists and we offer coaching. So, one of the ways that we're able to confront this is we have an application form that people can fill out. So within this, it gives, people the options of their budget. So maybe they don't have as much money to spend on a strategist or on a consultant. And so, with that, when people check off the different options, it allows us to create material that actually serves our audience. So, in our space, that's how we do it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you need to have in place before you start doing TikTok? Like, what if you're just, maybe you're in the corporate space and you're looking at leaving your 9 to 5 and you've had a great little side hustle and you're ready to take it to the next level. What do you have to have in place before you start launching a strong campaign on TikTok?
I think the number one thing that you need is just the commitment to it, because
Mm.
TikTok, the algorithm is looking for how much you're willing to commit to the app. And I think, just knowing in advance that we do need some time to create the content, to come up with the concepts, to plan out the campaigns. And that is one of the major factors with TikTok. So even if you could have already a bunch of content, and if you don't have time to come up and craft a bunch of new things, you can use old YouTube videos, you can use podcasts, you can use B-roll. But I think coming up, just with those initial goals and figuring out, like, what is the reason we're on TikTok? Do we just want to be kind of on TikTok, or do we want to have a big presence on TikTok? And I think that's all very important to consider.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you think the number one block is for entrepreneurs and business owners when it comes to really showing up on a platform like TikTok? Because for some of us, it's really easy to log on to Twitter
Yeah.
and to have our couple of hashtags and make sure our expertise is known in our space. But what do you think some of the blocks are for people who are used to engaging that way and then having to think about developing content on TikTok?
Absolutely. And like, I think one of the, the most common ones is, it is like, it's intimidating to be on camera. And so just overcoming that, like, it's a lot easier to post via your keyboard than it is to show up on camera. And I think a lot of us get stuck in the mindset that it has to be perfect. And especially when you're new to the app, TikTok is one of those places where people appreciate the rawness, the realness. And believe it or not, more times than not, the stuff that you actually plan out last minute, create last minute, and it's not perfect, actually does better. So I think, just getting that first video out is such a great way to step into the space of TikTok. And then you can work and tweak little things in baby steps from there.
Yeah, I think that's some really great advice. So, real quick before we wrap up, let me ask one more question.
Yeah.
How do you, or let me rephrase it. What do you
Mhm.
think is the biggest mistake people make on TikTok?
Okay, there's two big mistakes I think that people make on TikTok. The very first one is not adding a call to action in your videos.
Ooh,
So,
yes.
yes. So whether it's you want people to follow you or go to your profile or something, make sure that you use the text on screen feature, or you verbally say what you want people to do. I think that is one of the most missed opportunities on TikTok, hands down. The other one is, when it comes to your link in bio, have some way people can opt in to be added to your email list. Because, like anything, there's rumors swirling around, there's things happening where, who knows, if TikTok just poofs away, all of your work, your time, your money, your energy invested in the app could just be gone. So if you can get people onto your email list, that way you always have a way to reach them.
Yes. Oh, that's so fantastic. That was a great piece of advice. All right, Karsyn, how can people work with you? How can they get more great insights and tips and advice from you?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways. If you visit us on TikTok, and our handle is the at symbol and then Skuter Social. We have a lot of great freebies if you're just starting out that will really help you to get started on, your journey, as well as we have an application on our link as well if you're looking for strategy or for someone to come in and actually manage your short form video for you.
That's fantastic. All right, Karsyn, thank you so much. You gave us a lot to think about. I loved having you on the show.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, everybody, make sure you connect. Seriously, you want to get some of that free content, especially if you're new to TikTok or you've dabbled in it a little bit, but you're not quite sure what you want. Karsyn Skuter definitely has the tips for you. So, contact information is in the show notes. I'm going to wrap up this episode of Saturday Soundbites. But before I do, I'm going to remind you to hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of Saturday Soundbites. This is where you learn so much about increasing your visibility and your storytelling. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, drop us some comments, and my guests and I will be sure to circle back with you. So I will go ahead and wrap up this episode by sending you lots of positive